People don't really understand the hate I have for Hawkeye. It's a talent, a skill, an aptitude. And it all starts with this moment right here. Loki looks up looking like these, hitting a devious smile just to hear Nick Fury's voice, and looks at him all types of confused. A bald black man with an eye patch is trying to tell me what to do. Loki is feeling like Steve Rogers, looking down at his weapon and looked back up. Only black man on Asgard was Heimdall, and he was an employee, saying that he was a gatekeeper. I know a couple of gatekeepers, and he not one of them. Must have been Asgard's way of calling him a doorman. Loki tries to wipe them off the senses, and Hawkeye had them reflexes on him, tackled Fury out the way, and Loki started full core pressing. Stabbing one, taking out two more, had this one grinning his teeth. Hawkeye decides to try to do some. Shoots at Loki, but them bullets are baby food. That's what I'm talking about. Moing, 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 moing. And shoots back. But Hawkeye's out there pissing himself. Ain't wasting no time getting out the way. Rolled out the screen, and after Loki kicks this man to rebound off the wall, he's looking around, waiting for some more agents to pull up. Took him 3 blasts and a couple of hits to take them all out. But I want y'all to pay attention to this man right here. He on the ground hitting the worm, ass in the air trying to get up off the ground, just for us to see that it's Hawkeye. Turned around and got his arm blocked. The second he couldn't use his gun, he gave up. We see the right hand that's free. He not even doing a punch, a slap, or even a kick. At this point, I want to fight you too. I want to beat your little ass. Loki grabbed his arm and he felt some pain and gave up. Nick Fury saw that and was in disbelief. I know I've got one eye, so ain't no way I'm seeing this right. He drafted a bomb. And Loki uses his staff to put Hawkeye under his control. Took one arm grab and he already lost. Had him shooting Nick Fury and everything. Next time we see him, he's infiltrating the SHIELD airship. Made sure to put him under the spotlight. Gave him some extra camera time. He even went backstage to the writers and begged for his own cool fight scene against an A-list superhero. But they said, we can't do that, little bro. The best we can do for you is a V-lister. Put him up against Black Widow. He was walking, minding his business when she spawned in behind him. I'm pausing every frame, analyzing these scenes. And then all I saw was some red hair show up on screen. And I was like, nah. We about to witness a snooze fest. I'm sleep. He tries to up the bow and arrow, but she was ahead of his plan. That serious look on her face tells you she ain't joking. Twists the bow, got elbowed in her jaw, and he was swinging at Aang's parents, but they non-existent. Black Widow saw the opening and took that opportunity to hit a spin kick. To knock him back, had him stuck in the Stone Ages, hitting the dab. Black Widow got the idea to hit him with a magic trick. That now you see me. Disappeared in front of his very eyes, had him lost, looking crazy. It's messed up what they be doing to y'all. Couldn't be Green Arrow. Made you look and had him stumbling. He's moving so drunk he missed his shot, and they decide to hop to the other side and close the distance. She stops his bow, grabs the string, and made a mistake. This space created enough resistance to smack her in the face and push her to the rail. He's all up in her face, morning breath and all, didn't brush his teeth, used mouthwash or even some gum. Made him close his mouth. Damn near broke his neck and even took his bow. Just for him to pull out a knife. The least threatening man with a lethal weapon. They be letting anyone hold a blade. But all this showed me was this fight was a mismatch. Should I put him up against Squirrel Girl or some shit? That easy ISO. She blocks the arm and kicks him down to take a knee. Blocks it again, hits his throat, and breaks his arm. Got him hitting some crazy high notes. And he thought he was the Winter Soldier. Wanted to show off his skill level. Tried to switch hands with the knife. But that shit was weak. It don't work with him. He completely misses and is moaning. This reminds me of Hot Dog Bread and Playboy Cardi. Straight buns. Gets his arm caught and she presses the knife to his throat. So he resorted to children tactics. Started pulling her hair. So she went into her bag of childhood moves and put out a classic. Started biting his arm. So he lets her go. Loses the advantage and got his cranium shattered. And all we hear is him suffering. He gained back his consciousness, but couldn't walk no more. And just to make sure, she put him to sleep, laid him out cold. So after all that, Loki's trying to take over the city. You know, destroying everything, to then be the ruler of New York with 2 civilians left alive. But Hawkeye and Black Widow are on a plane shooting the enemies down. Until they spot Thor and Loki beefing on the tower. Tried to help out and got boomed. So while Thor is putting the works on his own brother, they're falling out the sky to crash down in the middle of the city. And when they get out, they look up and see an alien army pulling up. Some of these aliens drop down in front of them to fight, and I'm seeing a decent amount. And this man, Captain America, is like, y'all got this, right? Yes. Pulls out an arrow and takes out 3 of them. Captain America sees this nonsense and still leaves. I know this city is burning, but I'm seeing a million aliens and a limited amount of arrows. And Black Widow's in the back, not even aiming for real, just pulling the trigger. These two might as well be Marvel's version of the Suicide Squad. They're gonna get themselves killed. You don't believe me? Let's do the math and keep track of how many aliens they killed while Captain America was away. Black Widow had her legs wrapped around his freak, and he not even in pain for real. He waited his whole life for this moment. But after she takes him out, she uses their weapon to take out 3 more, bringing the count to 4. And then we see her in the back, getting ready to snipe him. Shot another down and ends up with 5 kills to her name, while this bum Hawkeye swiped this one's leg, folding it like a lawn chair, and the alien was like, wait! But I'm sorry to tell you, I don't know how much I weigh, little nigga. Then proceeds to crawl behind her car as if we can't see him, and gets tackled, holding him in the air and tackling him to the ground, before managing to stab it in the chest. And after he hits the clean slide, he gets his last kill, bringing his score to 3. And the second Captain America came back to help them, he smacked down 2 of them, then sent this one off screen and sat this one down, told him to make better decisions. And Thor pulled up and struck down 3 more, and he was exhausted. They literally showed up for less than 10 seconds and almost took out the same amount of aliens as Black Widow and Hawkeye. And there's going to be people watching this vid trying to argue that Hawkeye ain't useless, saying that the Avengers have never lost when he's on the team. Bravo! He's the team's mascot. But I'm here to tell you right now, your ass in the comments defending garbage. But I'm gonna give him credit where credit is due. This no-look shot was tough. I can't even hate. He even shot at Loki, who caught it, thinking he was slick, showing off for the cameras, and got outsmarted. But right when I thought that Hawkeye was getting some aura, after he shot another one down, this man was out of arrows. He's looking back at us. I ain't do none. He even looked to his right. He's trying to figure out who he can blame for this, as if it ain't his own fault. Had to start boxing, and kicked it off to its doom, and saw the army that was headed his way, same as walking into the hood at nighttime, minding your business, until you hear 5 niggas with shiesties asking you where you're going. Didn't want to get jumped, so he grabbed an arrow from a dead body and used it to escape. Jumped off the building using that sprinting form mid-air, and used up the rest of his screen time for this slow motion shot to grab it onto the wall and break through the building window to get to safety. We move on to Age of Ultron, where they've got Black Widow whipping the V, and Hawkeye as a makeshift turret. The Avengers were out there going crazy. I'm seeing Captain America use this guy's face to clean the road. He's having a bit too much fun. The man has a family. But the next time we see Hawkeye, he almost got his face burnt and is hiding behind a tree. Took an arrow and took out a tank. They proceeded to run to another tree to hide, hitting that no-look pose. Turned his head and tried to take out the enemy's defense system. Shot the arrow and it got took. He said nah. Looked up bewildered. Let me try again. Just to see Quicksilver. He was so distraught by his speed that he lost focus, which almost led to him retiring, getting shot in his hip. He's on the ground in pain, head tilted back, chin up. Yeah, he's struggling. Hawkeye to show up and do his job for him, but they decided to let Hawkeye have another chance against Quicksilver. So while the rest of the team are down there fighting and boxing Ultron and his minions, Hawkeye's up in his nest taking down the enemies from a distance. And that's when Wanda tried to get the jump on him, but he thought he was Madara, sees everything around him. That sneak attack won't work, taking her out and has her spazzing. But his 5 seconds of being a cool character wasn't gonna last. Remember, he needs every arrow he's got. He only has a limited supply. Iron Man has the time to make 40 different suits, but ain't got the time to help Hawkeye triple his number of arrows. Wanda ain't paying off her debt, so he started acting like the bank, trying to take shit back. Wanted to take back the arrow on her skull, but got pushed through some glass, and Quicksilver saved his sister. We are an hour into this movie, by the way, and the only thing he really did that was applaudable was letting the team use his home as a safe house. Gave Hawkeye his here nigga damn moment. Tony Stark could have bought a whole island as a safe house, and Thor don't even live on this planet. Even during the final fight, after Ultron started destroying the city, he's flying above it giving his villain speech, talking about some, yes, they deserve to die, all of them. He's up there being poetic. You can tell he was sitting at his desk writing this for hours, waiting to be able to say it out loud in public. But while all this is happening, Hawkeye's on the ground taking out the robotic minions, trying to help Wanda get to safety. She switched sides. She realized the mistake she's made. And Hawkeye is talking to her and drops the realest line in the movie.
We're fighting an army of robots, and I have a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense.
He knows he's trash. He knows he's useless. The Avengers end up assembling to do their job and fight Ultron and his army. Ultron is making sure to hit the classic T-pose, the Krollo, the Sukuna, the monkey hater known as Frieza. I assume even the Goku Black. We know he's the villain, but he wants to make it indisputable. And this fight is some more proof of how garbage Hawkeye truly is. Ultron's army jumps them, and everyone is putting in work. Vision just got recruited and didn't get nerfed yet, so he was ripping out their CPU. Captain America is hitting flips. Iron Man and Thor in the air destroying them. Hulk grabbed one out the air too. I know the robot was shitting bricks. Whole system started malfunctioning to get slammed to straight concrete. It was almost perfect. Almost. Look at Hawkeye in the back. This man is swinging that air. Oxygen. He's out there shadow boxing. He wasn't doing none. And then we get a close-up, and we can clearly see that he's the only Avenger in sight. The only thing on screen for this frame are an absurd amount of robots. He's practically getting jumped. But what does he do? He throws his bow, his only weapon. This nigga is garbage. Even when he goes to do the right thing and save this kid, Ultron is in the jet just making it rain bullets. Hawkeye sees the bullets, about to use them as target practice, and he starts locking in, and the choices popped up on screen. Does he try and run into the building for safety? Or does he try and run and dive out the path of the bullets? And the thing is that these aren't even good choices. So tell me why he still picked a worse choice. He turned his back. The kid's legs are still dangling out in the open. And the bullets are gonna go through his body and hit the kid anyways. Might as well have just left little bro out there in the first place. Could have just laid him out on a mat in the middle of the concrete and said, "Hey Ultron, shoot that little nigga right here." Shit, the result would have been the same. Quicksilver had to sprint in and shooted them with a car and ended up catching a handful of bullets, laying him out like Yamcha on a good day. Next is Civil War. At this point, Hawkeye was retired. He was supposed to be at home chilling and relaxing, maybe even sipping margaritas on a beach in Punta Cana. But this man Steve Rogers said he needed some backup and asked Hawkeye to pick up Wanda on the way. So the millisecond Vision was distracted, he showed up trying to look tough, moved the knife out the way, hitting a smirk. Even set a trap for Vision and told Wanda to get moving. But this man Vision phased through the wall and told Hawkeye he don't want this work. This is a disrespectful matchup. Vision started walking up slowly before getting caught in the trap. And when Hawkeye tries to take this chance to escape, Wanda ain't moving. She don't seem to understand that Vision versus Hawkeye is like Michael Jordan versus Muggsy Bogues. Same height difference too. Hawkeye even pointed at the door just in case she's legally blind. She's talking about some, "I've caused enough problems. And you're causing even more for me right now. Start moving towards the exit." But it's too late. Vision got out the trap and took the bow out his hand, knocked him back. He's in that superhero pose, getting ready to fight. Closing back in, and Vision is using him as a warm-up. Man took out a baton to fight someone made out of vibranium. And then when he gets blocked for the second time, he realized the baton wasn't working and decided to use his fist. Trying to punch metal is egregious work. Even broke the baton and is looking at it as if it was supposed to work and threw it away. I don't know what he expected. The kick doesn't work, and Vision has seen Captain America use this move way too many times. But instead of trying to choke metal, he uses the move properly. Uses all them gigabytes in his brain. Wanda was really just standing there the whole time. Waited till this man was in a headlock before deciding to help him. I would have been sick. I appreciate the help, but shit. We could have avoided this if you had just walked out the door. But Team Iron Man versus Team Cap were getting ready to box. But we're not here to talk about this. We're just focusing on Hawkeye. Iron Man pulls up on him and Wanda, and Clint made sure he had one of the most OP characters to back him up. He ain't leaving her side. But he knew the play. Shoots 2 arrows to distract Stark so that Wanda can send cars to his dome. It was a good play. I ain't even mad at it. They all square up and Hawkeye is clearly the weakest player out on the field. They all start fighting and you see him over here with the bow and arrow ready to shoot. And this man chooses to shoot Vision. Everyone else got a pretty decent matchup. I'm seeing Black Widow turn Ant-Man into the 3rd letter of the alphabet while he's out here shooting Vision. But the writers decide to give Hawkeye another 1v1 with Black Widow. This is Man City versus Man United. Ain't nobody watching these two bums. I'm seeing Hawkeye flip her like a pancake, thinking he might have actually won. But she asked this question.
We're still friends, right?
And I knew he was food. Got turned over and Wanda had to babysit him again, saving him from losing. Talking about, why are you pulling your punches? I guess he pulls his punches every fight. And the next time the cameraman catches Clint in a fight, they've got this nigga fighting the African king, the cocoa butter warrior, the fufu connoisseur. They really trying to embarrass him. Them arrows ain't gonna work on him. but at least his bow can turn into a staff now, so he ain't gonna throw it away this time. But close range combat against the Black Panther is a death sentence. Who he feeling like? He gets his staff broken, his chin rattled, had him looking up, sun gazing, and got put to the ground instantly. It wasn't even fair. Hawkeye, the definition of free XP, is on the ground rolling over with 3 broken ribs. And as we all know, Hawkeye in Endgame thought he was him, but he's not him. Bro was fighting Black Widow to see which one of them would sacrifice themselves for the stone, and he still lost this fight. Bro couldn't even win for a noble cause. Try to get his moment to be remembered in the history books. Even during the final fight, this nigga got the rock, and Black Panther had to intervene. No, this is not happening. I can't leave the fate of the universe in the hands of Hawkeye. Give me that shit, nigga.